Hello guys and welcome back to Football Daily. We've put together our team of the decade for you across the office. Let's see what you think. Goalkeeper, David De Gea. You might have expected a German between the sticks, but Marc-Andre ter Stegen has missed 3 seasons this decade, while Manny Neuer has either been injured or below par for 2 years now. That leaves the door open to David De Gea, who played 329 of 358 available league games since 2010, conceding under a goal a match in 6 of his 9 full seasons. Joining United from Atleti for £19 million in 2011, De Gea was yet to turn 21, but already had a Europa League to his name. And while his first 2 seasons at Old Trafford saw some teething problems, he soon recovered to become the league's best shot stopper. Chosen for Team of the Year 5 times, he became a title winner in 2013 and has kept over 100 clean sheets in the Prem, shutting out the opposition in 35% of his matches. In particular, his 2017-18 campaign ranks among the greatest goalkeeping performances ever, with United conceding 28 actual goals from nearly 46 expected goals. In short, De Gea was defying the odds every game to see his team, ranked 6th best in England by expected points, finish 2nd. He may not have maintained that level since, but for all the criticism levelled at him, De Gea still saves over 70% of the shots on target that he faces, a rate that has remained steady throughout his time in the Northwest. Still just 29, the Spaniard is arguably already the best goalkeeper in Premier League history. Right back, Dani Alves. Controversially ousting Philipp Lahm for the right back slot is Dani Alves. While the German also featured on the left and in midfield during his later years, Alves could always be found on the right flank, where his telepathic connection with Lionel Messi saw him assist the Argentinian more often than Iniesta. In his best season, the 2010-11 campaign, the Brazilian laid on 15 league goals, while making an incredible 9.5 tackles and interceptions per 90 and completing 2 dribbles a game, putting him in the top 5% of fullbacks for every major statistic. That year saw him pick up his 3rd title, and he'd go on to add 3 more at the Camp Nou, as well as a hat-trick of European Cups. He eventually left Barca after 8 years in 2016, but Juventus and PSG both found places for him, with the consequence that between 2014 and 2019, Alves won 5 domestic championships in a row across 3 different countries, as well as helping the Bianconeri to a continental final. Between club and country, Alves has 41 senior trophies, his latest coming in the 2019 Copa America, making him the most decorated footballer of all time. Now playing once again in his native Brazil, this time as an attacking midfielder, the defender remains the blueprint for 2-way fullbacks. Centre-back, Sergio Ramos. Despite the common complaint that there's no great defenders left in football, centre-back had multiple excellent candidates. Diego Godin would have been at home in George Graham's Arsenal, while Mats Hummel epitomised the best of modern defending, equally at home making a last-ditch challenge as a raking pass upfield. But while both earned silverware in the 2010s, no one can touch Sergio Ramos' collection, with a World Cup, a European Championship, 2 titles and 4 Champions Leagues to his name over the last 10 seasons. The Spaniard initially featured as a right-back for Los Blancos, with Ricardo Carvalho preferred in the middle, but swiftly found his home in the heart of defence, and there was arguably no one better in a big game. Not content with dominating his own penalty area, Ramos also became a huge offensive weapon, scoring 61 goals in all competitions since 2010, twice reaching 10 in a campaign, and netting twice in a Champions League final. The same as Leo Messi. Fast, intelligent and dirty when he needed to be, Ramos finished the period as his country's most capped player of all time, and moved into Real's top 5 appearance makers too, a testament to his enduring quality. Centre-back, Giorgio Chiellini. Partnering Ramos is another warrior. Giorgio Chiellini was world-class in 2010, and he's still world-class now, despite celebrating his 35th birthday in August 2019. And the Italian's peak has unsurprisingly coincided with Juve's spell as the best defensive side in European football. While Bonucci's passing and Barzagli's versatility often saw them singled out for praise, it was Chiellini's ability to do the right thing time and time again which saw the old lady concede just 239 goals in 342 games since 2010 and win 8 consecutive Scudetti along the way. A 6'2" tower of muscle, appropriately born in Pisa, Chiellini was an all-action ball winner in his mid-20s, racking up an astonishing 6.8 tackles and interceptions per game in the 2013-14 season. That year, Juve earned 102 league points, and as well as a Centurion, Chiellini had already become an invincible under Antonio Conte, completing the 11-12 campaign without a single domestic loss. Meanwhile, in the Italian Cup, he went 5 years without experiencing defeat, Juve only losing to Atalanta in the 18-19 quarter-final once Chiellini went off injured. Knowing the brilliance of the veteran, Juve spent €75 million in 2019 to bring in the most highly rated young centre-back in the world, but currently, even Matthijs de Ligt looks like a significant downgrade on Chiellini. No wonder he's made the club's all-time XI before even hanging up his boots. Left back, Marcelo. Despite playing for Brazil since 2006, Marcelo missed both of the Seleção's victorious Copa America campaigns in 2007 and 2019. However, a major international trophy is the only failure of the left back's career, which has seen him spend 14 years at Real Madrid, earning 20 medals and closing on compatriot Roberto Carlos' tally of 527 appearances in the white shirt, a record for a foreign player. That mark could be eclipsed by the end of the 1920 season, and Marcelo is a worthy heir to Carlos, making up for his inferior physical attributes with outstanding technical ability. The former Fluminense man has only ever passed 1 year without assisting in the league, when injuries limited him to 14 games in 2013. That's a product of consistently creating around 2 chances per match, a rate that rises in the Champions League and has seen Marcelo climb to 8th for assists in the competition's history, ahead of Xavi, Henry, Lampard and Ribéry. In defence, he's long been underrated too, winning possession 7.5 times per 90 minutes under Jose Mourinho. Marcelo scored in the 2014 Champions League final and netted a penalty in the 2016 shootout, while his spectacular performance, including an assist and goal line clearance in the 2017 quarter against Bayern Munich, put Real on their way to a 3rd continental crown in 4 years. True big game player and a merengue icon. Midfield, Sergio Busquets. A warning at the beginning of our midfield section. There's no N'Golo Kante to be found here. The Frenchman has hit incredible heights over the back half of the 2010s, but was in League 2 as late as 2014. By that point in the decade, Sergio Busquets had already won 11 trophies, including 2 titles and a pair of Champions Leagues, anchoring arguably the best club side of all time with his trademark unfussy, intelligent game. However, Busquets made the defensive midfield role look so simple that it was not easy to notice how unusual he was. Big but not strong, slow but always in the right place, Busquets mopped up in midfield by reading the game superbly, routinely putting up nearly 6 tackles and interceptions a match when adjusted for possession. But he was also brilliant at springing counterattacks, using body feints and a tight turning circle to evade pressure, before splitting defences with the perfectly weighted pass. In fact, his career passing accuracy is over 91%, despite his long balls a game routinely topping 5. And in 334 La Liga appearances at the time of writing, he's been dispossessed only 220 times. Exactly what you'd expect from a La Masia graduate. At 31, Busquets is sorely in need of the legs of Frenkie de Jong to help him out. But at his best, he wasn't just the top holding player in the world, but capable of redefining what we expected from the role, making his name as the most creative destroyer football has ever seen. Midfield, Luka Modric. Originally a number 10, Luka Modric is perhaps the defining player of the most dominant European side of the decade. Signed from Tottenham for £30 million in 2012, the Croatian was voted the worst signing of the season in his first year at Real Madrid. But he soon made himself a regular, contributing a goal or assist roughly every 3 games across his time at the Bernabeu. Brilliant at passing and moving through midfield, Modric routinely put up close to 8 accurate long balls a game this decade, as well as over 2 key passes and 2 successful dribbles. But despite his tendency to look for ambitious passes, he's maintained an 89% accuracy since he left his homeland, and he never overlooked his defensive duties either, peaking at nearly 5 tackles and interceptions per 90 for Los Blancos, enjoying arguably the best campaign of his career in 2018 at the age of 33, when he lifted a 4th Champions League and helped his side to a World Cup final, earning him the competition's Best Player award and seeing him become the first man other than Messi or Ronaldo to win the Ballon d'Or since Kaká in 2007. Universally loved and respected, Modric could have starred for any team during the 2010s, deservingly one of the first names on our team sheet. Midfield, David Silva. Filling out our midfield is Manchester City's David Silva, who narrowly beats out André Iniesta for a final place in the centre of the park. Though the Barca man scored the winning goal in a World Cup final and lifted 2 Champions Leagues this decade, he was out of the Camp Nou by 2018 and even before that was contributing less to the Blaugrana side, playing over 2,000 league minutes in only 4 campaigns since 2010. Silva, on the other hand, has been a mainstay at City the whole time, winning titles under 3 different coaches, and he too is a World and European Cup champion with his country. But in final third contribution, there's no contest. Iniesta was involved in 61 league goals for Barca, while Silva scored or assisted 123. While Iniesta only once assisted more than 10 in a year, Silva has done it 3 times, and at the age of 33 is on track to do it again, with only 6 players featuring more for City this season than the former Valencia man. Shockingly, his amazing CV is only translated into 2 appearances in the Premier League team of the season, but Silva's trophy cabinet is more commensurate with his talent, with 13 domestic and 3 international pieces of silverware since his switch to the Etihad. A true legend of the Prem, Silva will be sorely missed when he finally departs in 2020. Forward, Cristiano Ronaldo. It's hard to believe the level which Cristiano Ronaldo finds himself at as we approach 2020. A decade back, the Portuguese was one of the most exciting players in the world, a lightning-fast winger whose incredible skill made the step over a running joke. But while that Ronaldo was tremendous, with 40 goals and 11 assists in the 2010-11 Liga campaign, he became even more effective as he aged, peaking with 64 goal involvements in league play alone in 2014-15. The all-time leader in Champions League goals and goals in finals, Ronaldo's time at Real Madrid saw him make 438 appearances but score 450 times, netting over 14 all competitions in 8 consecutive years. Both his fitness and consistency have been superhuman, and his 5 Ballon d'Or are testimony to his talent and popularity, while his starring role in Portugal's Cinderella run to the Euro 2016 title showcased the hard work and leadership often ignored by his critics. Now, perhaps showing signs of his age at last, Ronaldo has not only helped define a football era, but the sport as a whole. Forward, Robert Lewandowski. The hardest spots to fit in RXI, there were 3 major candidates for the centre-forward position: Suarez, Aguero and Lewandowski. But while Suarez hit the highest peak of any striker in this decade, and Aguero established himself as the 2010s answer to Romario, Lever started the decade with a title win and ended it with 7 championships in 9 full seasons, with 14 trophies overall across 2 different clubs. Right now, the Pole is arguably in the best form of his career, with 1.2 expected goals and assists per 90, insanely enough, the 5th successive season in which he's managed more than 1 per game. No wonder that the striker hit 20 league goals in 7 of his last 9 seasons, despite playing in a league which features 34 games a year, not 38. And his durability is a large part of his success, with Lever playing 451 games to Aguero's 394 this decade, and boasting a better goal-to-game ratio than the Argentinian, with 0.71 to Aguero's 0.69. And he isn't just a goal machine when he's part of the league's best team either, hitting 58 in 96 for Poland since 2010, and appearing at 2 European Championships and 2 World Cups. Now 31, Lewandowski's still playing in his peak in a division generally dominated by youngsters. Forward, Lionel Messi. The best player of this or any decade, the best player anyone has ever seen on a football field, Lionel Messi finishes the 2010s with a record 6 Ballon d'Or, 4 Champions League and 10 titles, including 6 in the last 9 years. Leaving out the current season, the little magician has played 473 games since 2010-11, scoring 476 in that time and assisting a further 184. A rate of 1.4 goal contributions per match. Frankly, it's redundant to list Messi's accomplishments, as 1,000 words on the subject wouldn't tell you as much as 10 seconds worth of footage. But the best goal scorer of all time and the best creator has continued to add strings to his bow in his late 20s and early 30s, also becoming the best free kick taker in the world, scoring 4 of his last 12 attempts to date in the 1920 campaign, and averaging a conversion rate from shots outside the box alone, which would have ranked 3rd in the world last year. Absurdly, that means he's better at finishing from outside the area than the best strikers are at finishing from inside it. The deficiencies of Barcelona under Valverde put more and more pressure on Messi to do the impossible, but there's no one better to demand that of. Whoever you support, make time to enjoy him while he's here. We're unlikely to see anyone like him ever again. So guys, that was our XI of the decade. Do you agree? Let us know in the comments below who you'd swap out if that's the case. As always, like, subscribe and stick around for more great content. Bye!